Okay, looking at the steering wheel here now, we've got a ton of options and it is absolutely gorgeous. I love the embossed logo here, nice chromed out, it looks fantastic. Heated steering wheel across the board there if you do have that Elements package. So again, in the 200, the 201, the 202, the Select or the Reserve, you can get the Elements package there. Starting off on this side here, as you can see, we've got a couple things to point out. So this here, these on both sides are actually rockers. So rather than trying to press here, these aren't buttons here. You have to rock whichever way you'd like. So this going left or right is going to let you change stations or songs. Moving up or down is going to adjust the volume. This button here is going to turn on the cruise control. And if we pop up here, we know that cruise control is on when these have highlighted, but also if we look here, we know that cruise control is on when this shows up as well. Couple things to point out down here now. We've got the ability to, so we can resume, we can set, or we can increase or decrease the speed that we're at. So with the adaptive cruise control, it's a set it and forget it. So once you're up to the speed that you'd like, you're either going to adjust, so plus or minus. So these buttons, these are actually buttons underneath here. So again, you're not going to press here, it's underneath here in order to be able to set. So you're going to increase on the, or decrease on the bottom, increase the speed 1 kilometer or mile per hour in the top. If you press the brake yourself for whatever reason, you want to resume the speed that you were at, you're going to press the resume button here. Up to the side here, we've got 3 other buttons. We've got a cancel button, which will completely cancel out the cruise control. We've got our lane centering system, so we can turn that centering system on or off by pressing this one here. Now it is currently turned on there. Again, we know that when we see that steering wheel show up in the center, just above deep conditions. Then the last one here is going to be the distance that you are from the vehicle in front of you. So as you can see, we have lanes that add or subtract as we go. So it's really a matter of personal comfort and how close you want to be to the person that's in front of you there. Moving off to the side here. So this is going to be our generic settings button here. So as you can see, we've got that button pressed and we've now got a number of different options. So if we press the settings button here, we can look between a couple different settings. So let's go. Once that goes away here, there we go. So we can switch between our tire pressure, just a nice calming screen, or our trip counter. In order to be able to reset the trip counter, all we're going to do, let's jump back here for a second. In order to reset the trip counter, what we're going to do is press and hold this button here. So we're just going to press and hold here, gives it a second, and it's reset the values for us there. So really straightforward. From here, we've got a couple options now. So we can either go to the left in order to be able to look at our audio settings. So we can go between AM, FM, Sirius, XM, or press to the left one more time to go back. If we go to the right, we can either make a phone call, we can hang up on a phone call by going over to the right here. Going up is going to give us our navigation, so we can navigate home to previous destinations, to your favorites or point of interest icons. And then our last one is going to be settings. So we've got some basic settings here. So the first one is going to be display, so our information screens, or we can have the miles and kilometers as well. So we're just going to go okay. And that's one of the things. Now there aren't a lot of push buttons here. It's essentially going to be this rocker that you're using in order to be able to navigate this. So it does take a little bit of getting used to, but once you get the hang of it, it's really straightforward. When you get an oil change done, you're just going to oil change here, and then you're going to press and hold the OK button in order to reset the oil life. There we go. And that's going to be this basic screen here in a nutshell. So a couple things to point out above the steering wheel. We've got this plus or minus button here. That's going to allow us to determine what gear we're in. So I say gear because it's not a manual transmission, but at the same time, it gives you a little bit more flexibility as to which one you're in here. We've got our stick on the left-hand side here, so single pull in order to get the high beams on. Push away, same thing to get the high beams on as well. So we can flip it away in order to turn it back off again. On the very end, we've got our blinkers. Make sure you use that as you're changing lanes. And then on the tip of this one here, as you can see, we can turn the lane keeping system here on or off. We know that it's on or off if we see those safety lanes there. So essentially think of it like you're bowling. So if you see those lanes up, you know that the safety system's on. So we're going to pull in if we want to use the windshields that are in front of us, the windshield wipers. We're going to push away in order to have our rear window washer fluid go. And then on the very tip here off on the stick, as you can see, we've got this here. This is going to let us turn the rear windshield wiper on or off.